Okay, welcome everybody. Today we are going to talk about coaching. What is it? Where does it come from? What does it do? What can it do for you? And what does it take to be a coach? Let's jump into it. All right. Welcome. My name is Nick Redmark. I'm a professional life coach. If you're interested in a free hour of coaching, then check out the link in the description below so we can get to know each other and you get a taste of what coaching is. But let's look at what coaching is a bit more in depth in this video. This is what we're going to do here. I'm basing this introduction on this book called Coaching for Performance by John Whitmore. There is an introduction, and basically this video is structured like the introduction. And so let's go back to what the origins of coaching are. And coaching actually comes from the world of sports. It doesn't come from the world of academia. It doesn't come from the world of research. It comes from the world of sports. And at a certain point in the last century, a question emerged, which is what is the difference between an instructor and a coach? And to be able to understand this question better, we need to go a bit deeper and understand the kind of what does it take to be an athlete. And a good paradigm to understand this is called this distinction between outer and inner game. And this is a concept that was coined by just a second, by Timothy Galloway, and this is the guy. Timothy Galloway coined this term of inner game, and this appeared in his book the Inner Game of Tennis. And the principle between this in the concept, or the idea behind this distinction of outer and inner game, is that the outer game is what you need to do technically to win at tennis, for example. Like the techniques that you need to use, the strategies to use during the game. And the inner game is kind of like the what you need to do to overcome your own inner obstacles. Because as Galloway said, the opponent within one's own head is more formidable than the other side of the net. So the interesting thing is that he acknowledges that there is a whole psychological challenge that comes with sports in this case. But this principle can easily be extended to more general patterns in life. So it's in general the case, whatever you're trying to do, that often the internal obstacles are more daunting than the external ones. So if you were a computer or a robot, you would only have to make good decisions and then do them, right? That's what a very completely rational mind has to do. But we are human beings, we are biological, we are complex beyond belief, and we have a whole lot of other challenges that come additionally to that, which are these inner challenges, the inner game. And so this is why quite rapidly after this birth of coaching within the sports environment, it evolved and went into, for example, business. And even Timothy Galloway wrote a book about the inner game of work. As you can see, even the kind of the founder of this approach saw that there is potential for talking about coaching within another context outside of sports. Because, as we said again, it's the inner challenges are perhaps as strong or even stronger than the outer challenges, even outside of the realm of sport. And this is why coaching has expanded to business, to life itself, and this is why it's kind of growing as a discipline. But talking about the business environment, there is a question that often comes: what is the difference between coaching and mentoring? And this brings us back to the difference between coaching and instructing. In the end, it's the same thing, right? An instructor is someone who tells you what you need to do step by step. So you do this, do that. But a coach is someone who takes care of that inner game. and who kind of facilitates the process that you need to go through as a human being to overcome those inner obstacles. And there it's not just a matter of step by step, do this, do that, do that. It's a different type of game. And the core principle within coaching and kind of looking at the inner game is potential. So imagine that we human beings have a certain potential, and that can be kind of blocked. And it needs to be unlocked, and that unlocking is a process that we can facilitate as human beings. There are certain kind of techniques that you can use, a way of being. And to understand this metaphor of potential a bit more, let's look at an image. So when you see an oak seed, you don't see a whole tree, right? You just see this small thing, and it doesn't look so powerful. But then if you plant it and you let it grow, then it becomes a whole tree. And where was the tree? It was not there before, but it was there in the structure of the seed. It was already inside it. It was there as potential. And so human beings, which are much more complex than oak trees, also have a lot of potential within them. And so it's not much about really telling people what they need to do. It's about facilitating this growth process, right? Like a gardener doesn't make the plants grow. It just provides the appropriate shelter and water and lighting, and so the gardener is just there to facilitate the growing process. He's not responsible for the growth of the plants, because the growth is there. It's already in the potential of the plant. And so we need nourishment, encouragement, and the light to reach toward, but the oak tree-ness is already within us. And so this is really what coaching is about. It's about unlocking people's potential to maximize their own performance. And so really the focus is on potential. So what is your potential, and how can you unlock it? And like now, talk a bit more specifically, we can ask, like, what is it that blocks people from actualizing their own potential? And there are a number of different answers, but like the biggest one is what's called self-doubts, because imagine that there are certain things that you can achieve in life. You are never going to achieve them if you don't try. And if you don't, and you will never try if you don't believe that there is actually a possibility for you to do it. And I'm not talking about this absolute arrogance of like being absolute certain that you will succeed. I'm just talking about, believing in yourself enough so that you will actually go and do the thing. And so what we as coach need to kind of help grow is this self-belief, this belief that you can actually do it, that there is this potential in you. And there are different ways to grow this self-belief. And again, like, this is my own thing. I would not advocate for kind of blind self-belief, but still we tend to believe less in ourselves, less than is warranted, kind of a limiting belief. And so, like, through the coaching process, one can learn to make small progress and experiencing successes that belong to you, that you don't do because someone told you to. It's you planned it, you did it, and it belongs to you, and that is going to grow your self-belief. And then another thing that really helps us grow our self-belief is if we know that there is someone else who believes in us. And again, like, a coach is someone who, by definition, operates on the assumption that you have that potential within you that you can unlock, which is why a coach usually won't give you advice and tell you things to do. And finally, coaching is what one could call a way of being. It's a way of interacting with other people. In the end, probably coaching will not be a discipline, hopefully, because the principles of coaching will basically be the way people interact with each other. At the moment, obviously, it takes training to become a coach. This is what I'm going through. But hopefully, at a certain point, this approach of listening, of believing in someone's potential, of acknowledging it, will will be something that a way that people interact with each other on a regular basis, like just normally. And so, okay, if you're interested in that, if you want to unlock your own potential, then please subscribe. I talk about personal development a lot, and again, as we said, I'm a personal coach myself. I have an exam in summer, so I'm looking for people to do some to practice. So